For some reason, everyone wants to do everything at 2 AM Australian time. That's why I'm awake in the middle of the night to bring this video to you guys. Following on from my last video surrounding the controversy with T1 Zeus and his agency, a response from both parties has been made. And it ain't pretty. If you'd like to catch up to speed completely, my other video will be in the description for your convenience. Now, if you're a gacha or a mobile game player, today's sponsor will be right up your alley. So just before we get started, you may want to check these guys out. This is TopUpBot, the newest, cheapest, and easiest way to buy in-game currencies across the best current gacha and mobile games. Titles on TopUpBot include Genshin Impact, Honkai Star Rail, Zenless Zone Zero, and PUBG Mobile, with more titles being added every month. I know a lot of you like to play these games in queue for League, so I thought letting you know about a new place where you can get these currencies for 20% off their usual price would be something of interest. Their systems are fully automated and delivery is instant. All you need to do is provide them with your user ID and region, so it's completely safe to use. To get started, visit their website, topup.bot. All links will be in the description below. The aftermath began today, where T1 CEO Joe Marsh was asked a lot about Zeus in this AMA that appeared on FM Korea. Of course, I'll link the AMA down below, but for this video, I'll just be highlighting the most important parts. But be warned, this AMA shares a lot, and there's a lot I want to include, so it's going to be pretty heavy on the narration. In the introduction, he says he was asked to do an AMA on October 2nd, but declined due to the team's focus on Worlds, but is grateful he now has the opportunity to do one so he can talk about Zeus. He also said this is the final time he will be talking about the departure of Zeus, so I assume any more information that T1 want to give in regard to the controversy will have to come from the organization as a whole, not Joe himself. He also says he wishes all the best to Zeus, which makes him sound quite happy and lighthearted, but some of his answers to come definitely don't sound like that and certainly contain quite conflicting undertones. The first question reads, is it true that T1 couldn't agree to terms with Zeus to meet his demands of 2 billion Korean won, as Hanwha, which is a Chinese streamer, mentioned? To which Joe replied, that is not true. We were never given the opportunity to match any offer. Additionally, the agent did not present any counter-offers to the proposal we had sent. Not off to a good start. Next, he was asked, can you just show how much Zeus is getting paid by signaling your fingers? To which Joe had a pretty cheeky response. You'd have to ask Zeus, or better yet, try his agent, if you can actually get him on the table. This is in reference to T1 allegedly not being able to contact the agent during the negotiation window due to shady dealings from them, and thus makes it quite an underhanded comment, clearly poking jabs at their poor conduct. I'm going to combine the next two questions as they're the same topic. They were, how much was Zeus's offer from T1? And how much was the difference in the offer amounts between T1 and Hanwha Life esports for Zeus? To which he responded, what I can share is that we aim to give each of our players the top salary in their respective position. With this goal as our foundation, we negotiated with all the players' agents, including Zeus's. Throughout the process, however, Zeus's agent did not provide us with a single counterproposal. When the agent visited our office on Friday, he openly stated that he, quote, had nothing to say, which struck us as unusual for someone whose role is to negotiate contracts. After signing the 3 players, we even submitted an additional proposal, despite knowing that rule number 1 of negotiations is not to keep presenting offers without a response. Yet again, there was no counterproposal or clear communication from the agent. Nonetheless, in keeping with the aforementioned aim, we were willing to match any offer for Zeus. If the agent had communicated his client's specific desires from the beginning, this process could have been much smoother. The agent imposed an artificial deadline, claiming it was set by HLE. However, after Zeus made his decision to leave, we spoke with HLE and they confirmed that no such deadline was ever established. In my opinion, someone is not being truthful in this situation. Having worked with HLE for many years, I trust their word regarding what was said. It's disheartening that such tactics played a role in the process, as we believed Zeus deserved transparency and fairness in making such an important decision about his future. They also asked for exact details surrounding Zeus's departure, like how the other players reacted, but Joe said it wasn't appropriate and should keep those details in private. They then asked about Doran and why they picked him. As for Doran, when we interviewed him, he said that he had always admired T1 and that his favoured style of playing aggressively can be better suited on T1. On another note, we have always thought highly of Doran because of the sheer amount of practice he put in. When analysing our opponents, he always stood out as the one who practiced the most. They also said that as soon as they found out Zeus had signed with HLE, T1 reached out to Doran and the signing was very smooth and fast. In the next question, Joe also exclaimed that the biggest factor in losing Zeus was his agency and his agent, alluding to the fact that Zeus himself was heavily swayed because, quote, This particular group has a history of prioritizing financial gain over a broader perspective of what's truly best for the player. This pattern of prioritizing financial incentives over what's best for the player's overall future is concerning. While we respect Zeus' decision, it's unfortunate that the influence of an agency played such a significant role in this outcome. Then he was asked, did T1 actually sit down at the negotiation table with Zeus? Was it that you couldn't retain him or that you chose not to? You had time to release exclusive articles, but you couldn't secure Zeus? Joe said, we submitted multiple proposals during the process, but we never received a counter proposal from Zeus' agent. On Tuesday, we were told that both the agent and Zeus would come to T1 HQ to finalize a deal. However, the agent never showed up and instead closed a deal elsewhere without ever sitting down at the table to negotiate with us directly. As for the article, it was published after Zeus had already made his decision. They were then asked why T1 is removing signs of Zeus from the corporation so quickly, as a lot of fans have seen and been disheartened by. But it was as simple as them no longer owning the rights to his likeness. It was also really sad to see that T1 deleted Zeus' YouTube channel, which I used to love watching. If you search on YouTube for T1 Zeus, it only shows related results and not his actual channel. And if you click on the actual link, it shows an error page. I also thought it worth mentioning this here as I was curious to find this out too. Joe is asked about Guma's single-year contract when the other players, Keria and Oner, signed multi-years. In a response to quell the nerves of fans thinking Guma is going anywhere, Joe said Gumayusi thrives on betting on himself and having a one-year deal keeps him motivated and hungry. He has an exceptional mindset and is incredibly mentally strong. I deeply respect how he carries himself both on and off the rift. His maturity is truly beyond his years. Guma is the embodiment of T1. He bleeds red and black, and his commitment to the team is unwavering. Then, he was asked about the Kiin rumors that I touched on in my previous video. The question reads, there are rumors that Zeus' agent dragged out the negotiation process until the very end of Kiin's negotiations, avoiding meetings to jack up the salary. Is this true? To which Joe replied, I cannot confirm these rumors without concrete proof. During the Stove League, it's often difficult to separate fact from speculation. That said, if the agent truly wanted to finalize a deal with T1, he had every opportunity to do so. Then, to finish, Zeus' future was asked about. Is there any chance that Zeus will come back in the future? To which Joe says Zeus will forever be a part of the T1 family. His contributions to our history are unforgettable, and he will always have a place here. As we've seen with Koma, who returned after leaving in 2019 to guide us to our 5th World Championship in 2024, the door at T1 is never closed to those who have shaped our legacy. T1 is more than just a team, it's a home for players, both past and present. We've consistently taken care of those who have been a part of our journey, from legends like Wolf and Boxer to others such as Antara, Bengi and Tom. Zeus has earned his place in T1's legacy, and it would be an honor to welcome him back if he ever chooses to return. So while his response is not indicative of anything concrete, it certainly doesn't close the door on T1 Zeus in years to come. I also really recommend reading this whole AMA. I only chose what I thought was relevant, but there was a whole lot of details in here that you may enjoy reading yourself. It'll be in the description as I said before. Then, to all these answers Joe gave to the public, Zeus' agency The Play responded in their own statement on Twitter, roughly translated, saying, I'm sorry for causing concern to the fans due to the recent transfer-related issue with Zeus. We are going to announce a statement to correct misunderstandings by delivering accurate facts and to tell the truth about Zeus and our position. Prior to this, I would like to inform you of the following. We recognize that the controversy is spreading due to what has been announced through T1's AMAs. However, many of the facts that T1 claims are exaggerated or untrue. We will explain them in detail through our statement as soon as possible, and we sincerely ask that you refrain from making any reckless accusations against Zeus until then. Thank you, The Play. Then, merely hours ago, the damn reason I'm up at stupid o'clock in the morning making this video, The Play released what they said they were going to, a response to the AMA with, quote, evidence. This translation is credited to Redditor Jack Will Sire. And again, I'm going to only speak on what's relevant so this video isn't an hour long, but I'm afraid there'll be more reading. In the opening statement, they basically just say that T1 had lots of inaccuracies in their AMA, so they wanted to say something officially. They also included this timeline of negotiations between the agency, Zeus, and T1. I'm going to put it here. You can pause if you'd like to read it, but they didn't really include any proof, like messages with dates or screenshots, so who knows how real this timeline is. To summarize all this, the agency says during the priority negotiation period before the 19th, the agency consistently engaged in good faith discussions with T1, even while emphasizing their desire to assess the player's market value in the free agency market. Quote, on the 19th, despite entering the free agency market, neither the agency nor Zeus agreed to any direct discussions with T1 before 10 AM or after 3 PM. On the 19th, the negotiations with T1 continued constructively, without considering overseas transfers. At 3 PM, the deadline was communicated to T1 per the request of Hanwha Life. The negotiations ultimately concluded as T1 was unable to meet the terms by 3:30 PM, leading to a termination of talks. Then, the play began debunking some things Joe said in the AMA. Such things like T1's offers weren't competitive and, quote, made offers that failed to reflect Zeus's contributions, particularly as a key team member in securing back-to-back World Championship victories. They also said the reason they didn't respond to T1 for a while is because they were, quote, prioritizing protecting the players' rights by ensuring contract terms aligned with market standards, and wanted to, quote, not make an immediate counteroffer, but rather to confirm Zeus's value in the free agent market before initiating further discussions. Quote, the claim that the agency did not negotiate actively or was simply waiting for other offers is inaccurate. The agency negotiated continuously while also ensuring transparency about the free agent market evaluation process. Despite not making counteroffers, negotiations with T1 were conducted earnestly. Even after the FA evaluation, Choi Woo-jae, which is Zeus, expressed his firm intention to remain with T1 if the terms were competitive. They also said they did not agree to any direct meetings with T1 before 10 AM or after 3 PM on the 19th. The next 2 points are direct opposite to what Joe said in his AMA. Negotiations continued past the 3 PM deadline, but no agreement was reached due to T1's inability to accept the proposed terms. It was emphasized that the 3 PM deadline was set upon Hanwha Life Esports' request, where Joe said HLE had made no such request, and he trusted them in that too. The extended deadline until 3:30 PM was also not sufficient to finalize any agreements. Despite the ongoing negotiations, both parties ultimately concluded that no further extensions were possible. Except Joe said multiple times T1 tried their hardest to meet in negotiations and they never gave up on Zeus. They conclude by saying, quote, although there have been misunderstandings and incorrect information, we have prioritized explaining the key aspects of the situation. All our claims are based on verified communications and decisions made between Choi Woo-jae, Hanwha Life Esports, and our agency. We aim to convey the facts clearly, express our regrets for the misunderstandings with T1, and request an end to the negative public discourse and unnecessary controversy around this matter. This whole thing will be in the description as well, because there's clearly a lot I cut out, but I thought this was kind of all that was needed to understand the stance of both parties. Since this whole thing, it's been said T1 as an org has been under extremely heavy stress, with staff working until early hours of the morning to change the course of the company based on Zeus's departure and trying to fix things. In alignment with this, it was also said that during these hours, the COO was seen cussing outside the T1 headquarters, further indicating the stress the team is under from the discourse of the situation. Despite the play issuing a statement, Joe stayed true to his word, tweeting that the AMA is all he will say on the matter in public, but it is unknown if T1 is still trying to break contracts to get Zeus back. Thus far though, it does look like T1 Doran is staying. It also should be noted that HLE have said that they do not wish to comment on the matter, which is an odd thing to say as the org that's swapping their top laner. But if you do have anything else you've learned that you'd like to share below, please leave me a comment and I'll pin it if it's credible. Now, just before we finish, I've got something pretty cool to share. I was nominated for Community Creator of the Year at the League Awards run by Cajal and Shox. Despite being against absolute unit creators like I watch all these guys, I am super grateful and couldn't have done it without your guys' support. If you'd like to vote for your favorite creator, the link to the poll will be in the description. And if it's for me, I can't thank you enough, truly. Anyway, that'll do us for the day. Thank you so much for watching. And if you enjoy this type of content, be sure to subscribe. Have a great weekend, and I'll see you guys in another news video very soon. I'm gonna edit this and go to bed. Bye.